2, 3. All right. So last time what we did was we actually did Vcenter. So we configured. No, sorry. Today we're gonna do Vcenter, but last time we did the SAN, software SAN, and I'm hearing your breathing. So please, can you mute your mic? So, excuse me. All right. So I'll just quickly explain that. The Yep, I'll put the diagram now. So what we were doing was this. Okay, so we created a software SAN, right? And software SAN, this first machine was the software SAN. And what was it offering? It was offering storage. Okay, I'll mute myself. All right, so Software Center was offering storage, and whatever a device or set of devices offer storage are called target. Whichever devices request storage over the network are called initiators, right? So we configured the target and then we configured the initiators. And for that, we had to start all the machines. Now, in last class, we actually tried to make the environment ready for the deployment of the VIP machine, we can say, but don't say that in the job environment. Oh, this is the VIP machine. Well, so it's the virtual machine for vCenter. What we will be doing today is we're going to be creating a virtual machine here on ESXi1, which I have been mentioning before, that this is the hypervisor that's going to host the virtual machine that will help us configure the whole environment centrally, manage the whole environment centrally. And this machine will be created on one of the data stores. So last time, remember, we created data stores on top of 3 LUNs. We created 3 data stores. Each data store was named W1DS1 LUN1, W1DS2 LUN2, and W1DS3 LUN3, right? So those data stores were created on top of shared disks over the network. And these shared disks over the network will we will be able to uh, we were able to create data stores on top of, and these shared disks over the network are critical for the virtual machine deployment. So now what we're going to do today is we're going to deploy that virtual machine through which we're going to control the whole environment. So this machine is called VCSA, vCenter Server Appliance, and its deployment is pretty long or tough, I can say, and that would be for some of your, hopefully all of you are able to deploy the vCenter, and hopefully everyone, even if you get an error, you just have to restart the deployment, and you just have to name the name and IP of that machine. I'll be telling you the whole thing, but we're going to be creating now a virtual machine, and for that we need to create the environment as well, or we will double check the environment if it is ready for our most important virtual machine that has the most important software called vCenter, because that vCenter controls centrally the whole VMware environment. So VCSA, vCenter Server Appliance, and vCenter Server Appliance, VCSA, that's one thing. and the processor prereqs. We talked about that before as well. Prereqs are the minimum two CPUs, but there are other configurations. Can't hear you. Oh, guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Siri is only having issue then. Siri, others are able to hear me. Please shoot your audio, log out, log in. Okay, so prereqs were two CPUs. This is the minimum configuration of deploying the vCenter application, right? So there are bigger configurations when we are deploying vCenter. I will show you what I mean by, oh, there are bigger configurations. So two vCPUs, minimum 12 GB, okay, 10 GB RAM, and 450 GB disk space is the minimum requirements. I think we meet all the requirements here. We're going to be deploying in this hypervisor, which is your first name ESXi01. So it will be having two CPUs. That's vCPU. So let us really check. Oh, I have to. Okay, great. So here, this is, excuse me. So first machine, 2 GB is okay. I'm just going to power it on. But the other machines, let's not power them on. Other machines, let's not power them on if you have powered on. Well, so this ESXi1 is the machine where the hypervisor, where we're about to deploy the virtual machine or VCSA, vCenter Server Appliance. So last time we all increased this ESXi01's memory as 12.1 GB, right? Other hypervisors are supposed to stay shut down. Why? Because we are about to deploy a heavy virtual machine, a big application inside a virtual machine, which is called appliance. So appliance is a virtual machine that has a big software already installed inside, right? So we're deploying an appliance here, the VCSA. For that, we need a lot of RAM on E6i1. So keep the E6i2 and E6i3 shut down. This is also shut down E6i1 just to check the RAM for it. So RAM is okay. And two processors, two vCPUs, that is also okay. So we meet the minimum requirements here right now. We are meeting the minimum requirements, right? Um, so we can just power on the two machines only. Which ones? Power on only your Win01 and the E6i01. Now, this is also mentioned in actually previous uh, previous. That's it. Yeah. So the previous diagram as well. So I'll just put that. Let's power lower the RAM of P6i2 VM and hypervisor itself. Yeah, we did that lab and deploy VCSA. This is it. So I'll just put that up. Once the 12 GB RAM has been given to E6i1, then power it on before deployment of VCSA. So then in the last class, we actually still went on fulfilling the prerequisites and make sure we have minimum 450 GB storage. So we do have 450 GB storage, but how do we know that? Because this storage is 200 GB, but we're not talking about the local storage of this virtual machine. If I go to the diagram here, so this is that local physical disk, which is 200 GB, and that's not where we're going to deploy the VCSA. We're going to deploy the VCSA on 600 GB machine. So remember that these disks were actually given 600 GB size because it is thin provision, so we were able to give that size. So that's why we fulfill the prerequisites of So 450 GB. Now, again, where it is, if I see that here, so I don't see that because it's local, so I just have to power it on. But I'm just telling you now. So shut down, keep the E6i2 shut down, E6i3 shut down if anyone following, and just power on E6i1 only if you have put the RAM 12 GB. And the first machine's RAM is already 2 GB, so 2 and 12 only we're going for now, or for the duration of the installation of VCSA, right? So I'm just going to power it on now if the requirements are good. But we need to see where is that storage requirement we're fulfilling, because okay, so RAM is good, processor is good, but storage, we see local storage as, um, just 200 GB. We need minimum 450 GB, so it has to be more than that, obviously. So where's 600 GB? And we know that last time we deployed the software sand, while the first hypervisor starts, I'll just go back and log into the Win01. And yes or no, whichever you give it to the blue bar, it's okay. And I will, once we go to the server manager here, in the server manager, remember in last class, we went server manager, and then we went to file and storage services. And then we went to iSCSI services. And iSCSI is that protocol that lets us uh, offer our local disks remotely over the network with even Ethernet network. If we were having an actual office and Ethernet cable network, not fiber optic, Ethernet cable network, so then we would have had we would have used iSCSI in that case, if not fiber optic, right? So I can see that it says connected, 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 and the three IP addresses of my three hypervisors, which are the initiators, and this is the target, and we named this target as iSCSI target one. So we're good. Uh, from the target side, we are good, and target says, hey, yes, you are connected to the initiators. So that's a good news as well. But we will confirm now as well. So I can see that my E6i01 is still starting. Please keep the E6i2 and 3 shut down. E6i1, we're going to be, so what's the plan when it powers on? The plan is to attach the ISO of the vCenter. So ISO of the vCenter needs to be attached to the CD DVD of the first machine Win01, and it will be remotely deployed to this hypervisor over this LAN, the local area network that is provided by the VMware workstation. So it's going to be deployed over the LAN to this hypervisor, right? So the application is big, and if exact steps are followed, then it should be fine. So that's the plan. And we're going to be attaching the ISO of, so I'm going to show you also what's the name of the ISO. I'm just checking. Okay, my first machine is powered on, and I'm going to remotely connect to it just to confirm the storage. And we know how to connect remotely from Windows machine to the hypervisor through the Google Chrome browser. So I'll just open the Google Chrome browser and E6i2. So it's all written already here. This is E6i1. It's already cached here. And the username password is root, and the password is -e, -123, -123. I wanted to check the storage. If I click the storage, this must be showing the three LUNs. So if I go to the devices, the three LUNs are showing here. If I go to the data stores, the data stores that have been created on top of those three LUNs are these data stores. And we can just deploy a virtual machine on any one of the data store here. So because they're all same size, right? 599 or 600 GB. So yes, the storage is also there, 599, so way more than 450, right? So we fulfill the storage requirements of the deployment of vCenter as well. Now, the actual plan. So the plan would be, if I go to the diagram or the slide here, make sure we have minimum. Yeah, we did that. We need to have a place. Okay, in place software vSAN, software SAN, not vSAN. Okay. vSAN is an upcoming lab, and then you're gonna know the difference between SAN and vSAN. Temporarily, let's put blah blah blah. So we did that. If you have 32 GB RAM, then you don't have to change anything. Well, those having 32 GB RAM laptops can put 16 GB to that laptop instead of 12 GB. But otherwise, those who have total 16 GB RAM in their laptops can follow me. To deploy 3 iSCSI, we did that. We need to create new now data stores. We need to create now data stores on these 3 disks over the network. Okay, now and LUN1 can, yeah, we did all that. So on Win01, let's attach the ISO of VCSA and VCSA, and then go to ISO of VCSA to the CD DVD of this VM, and then let's go to the DVD and open the installation file of VCSA, right? Okay, so let's do this step first, and then we're gonna go ahead because the installation configuration wizard, the installation wizard is also long, and some more terminologies will be used there. Okay, so Sri says in the chat, this iSCSI in VM1 should show only 3 LUN disks of 600 GB, right? Yes, exactly, 3. We added 3, so we should be seeing 3. Correct. And okay, let's go to our Win01. I'm inside the Win01 here. And okay, I don't need to see all this left side, so I'll just close this by, closing this. But whenever I need it, I can just select this and get it back. So anyway, I'll close this. Okay, Kauthar says, hi sir, I still can't turn on my excited register. Where will I get me and requested it? Oh, Kauthar. So, well, we can check it out quickly. Can you share your screen? So you know how to, okay. Yes, you know. Okay. Okay, so, yep, the VMware work session you can share.
Okay, so this is the website, IT Academy Brightspace. I already logged in. I did follow the steps here. Software license catalog. I did request it from here. Is it the right place?
Yes. But
So yeah,
what's
they
the
told me they mentioned they will send it to me via email, and I did actually request it like 3 times or so, but I didn't receive anything.
Oh, requested the keys?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope you don't show the keys here. Otherwise I will use it. Ha ha ha. Okay, anyway. So request. So you did click the request, right? Oh,
Yes,
you
yeah,
need the
that's
Vmware
right.
Workstation 16 Pro key?
I did, yes. Which one was
Okay.
it? Yeah, it's this one, yeah. Workstation Pro, this one,
Yes,
right?
exactly. So can you click that?
Yeah.
The green request button and yeah. So once you click it says something or okay, so log in
Yeah.
and what?
It's still loading.
Uh-huh.
It says, thank you for requesting your VMware workstation
Sent you
license
soon.
key, and the key will be sent to you soon. But
So if
I
it's
did actually do this like 3-4 days ago, but still nothing.
yeah, they say that email this email address, so copy this email address and email them, and still
Okay.
check in the junk mail of your email as
Yeah,
well.
I did. Yeah, check the junk mail as well. Nothing.
Okay, then you have to
I
email
shall
these guys.
email this
Yeah,
email address here. Okay.
yeah.
And just tell them
And
that I need a license key. Okay.
yes. So you have already requested that and you still didn't get it. And, give them your
Okay.
identity. I'm this college and this is my college ID. I've been added.
Okay.
So, and if
All right.
you can CC the tech, also, Humber Tech, CC them and
Oh,
email these guys, right? So Humber
okay.
Tech will also confirm for them and for you that,
Oh,
yes, you did request.
all right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. There is, okay, I need to pause the recording now. All right. So I'll share back and put the chat here. Back to the other screen. And participants. Okay, so what we were talking about is that we're going to map the ISO of the VCSA to the DVD of Win01. So how do I attach that? I have to go up to the Win01. I have to right click here. I have to go to the properties of Win01 and then go to the CD DVD. But before that, I'll show you that what are the spellings of that ISO. So I'm just going to go to that software, uh, VMware. And yeah, so you're supposed to have VMware dash VCSA dash all dash blah 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 blah, right? So VMware, if you see the word VCSA, that is what you're supposed to have. And I shared that link maybe 2 classes ago. Yep, this is what I'm gonna map now to the CDDVD of Win01. So I'll just go back there. I'll go up to Win01 and I'm gonna right click here and go to settings. Then I'm going to click CD DVD here, this one. And obviously I need to give the path of that VCSA ISO, right? And we're gonna also make sure that these two boxes are checked when we're doing that. After doing this, after giving the path of the correct ISO or before, it's up to you. I'm just gonna click that browse now after checking the two boxes. I'm gonna click browse. And yeah, I'm actually there on that folder where I have VCSA. So I'm just simply double click it. And once it is double clicked, that's it. I'll just press. So make sure these two boxes are checked. If any one of is grayed out, it's okay. Then check whichever you can check. If it's already checked, you're good. So I'm going to press O and K. Right. So, yep, it also shows that, hey, it's mapped here to the DVD. I'll minimize the Chrome here, minimize you don't have to really minimize, I'm just clearing the screen anyway. So I'm going to go to that yellow folder or File Explorer, and then I'm going to go to the CD DVD and I'm going to double click. I'm going to show you where exactly are the exe files to start the installation wizard. So I'm just going to go to the yellow folder here. of the Win01 virtual machine, not the laptop, the Win01. So, you see there this yellow folder and this yellow folder. So the above one, this is inside the virtual machine, that one. So I'm just going to go to this PC and then go to this DVD drive. There I see VMware VCSA written here, right? So I'm going to double click that, but double clicking doesn't start the configuration because it could be, you could start this installation from Linux, from Windows, from Mac, even Mac PC. You can start the installation. So where for the Windows we can go for, so this is UI. There's CLI based as well, command line based as well, deployment of this, and there's a UI based. We're gonna go for the UI or graphical user interface, right? I'm gonna double click that, and then the three types of installation. So we're gonna go for Win32, which is for Windows, other is Mac and Linux, right? So it's Win32. We're gonna double click that, and then there is the installer. All right, so we're just gonna double click the green, yellow installer, or green, orange, or yellow. Running. And there's the Vcenter installer. So this installer, there's install, there's upgrade, there's migrate, there's restore. Obviously, they are self-explanatory, but upgrade would be if you have older version of Vcenter, and then migrate. So anyone, can you show the path again? Sure. So Siri says show the path again. I'll just close that. But my question was, and you can think about it until I show that path. So my question is, what's the difference between upgrade and migrate? What's the difference between upgrade and migrate? So Siri, if you have gone to the yellow folder or file explorer here, then go to this PC and double click the D drive, DVD drive. Now here, you have to actually go to VCSA UI installer. That's the only one here with this folder name. So once you double click UI, then you have to go to Win32. Double click that too. So UI and Win32, and then installer, this one. Double click that application. Okay, so once we double click, that's what I was asking, that what is the difference between upgrade and migrate? Anyone know? That gives a chance to sip my tea. Yeah, excellent. Very good answer. Nobody said anything actually. So the difference between upgrade and migrate is, hey, by now I would have Googled it, right? Okay. So, and it's okay to Google, it's just knowledge search, right? But what is the difference between upgrade and migrate? So the difference is that when you upgrade is always in place, right? Upgrade is in place, which means that suppose you're doing an upgrade. So suppose there's a 6.0 older version of hypervisor, right? So 6.0 hypervisor is there, and you want to upgrade to 7.0, suppose. So the hardware is so good of that hypervisor that you do not need to change the hardware. And when you run the 7.0, it just simply smoothly upgrades from 6.0 to 7.0 hypervisor. Because the hardware requirements of 7.0 are also met with the same hardware that has 6.0, right? So that is upgrade. So if you are upgrading from 6.0 to 7.0 and you don't change the hardware, this is called upgrade. But migrate is just the opposite of that. Well, the one thing is you're still changing from 6.0 to 7.0, but the 6.0 is in an older hardware, and you want to, well, upgrade, but upgrade actually doesn't work. So then you purchase a new hardware that fulfills the requirements of 7.0. Suppose this is the other hardware. So then if the hardware is changed, then that is called migrate. The same application is being changed from older application version to the newer application version. But since you had to change the hardware, so that is called migrate. If you didn't have to change the hardware and still the older application becomes the newer, so that is called upgrade. Same hardware application upgrade is called upgrade. And if we change the hardware and across the LAN, it is then called migration or migrate. Right? Okay, so that is one thing. I'm just gonna go back here. So that's, you can do any one of those. And then restore. So obviously, if you have already deployed that vCenter, then you can take a backup regularly, and then you can restore from here. So the initial file or the ISO is still very important for these all major tasks. Now, obviously, we're going to go to the install a new vCenter, right? So I'm just going to click that install now. And once I click that, so this screen comes and it says here that external platform services controller deployment has been deprecated. So external platform services, we're going to be talking about some more terminology here, but if I click learn more here, so it takes us to the knowledgebase.vmware.com /s/article 60229. So deprecation of the external platform services. Now external platform services, starting from 6.7, VMware announced a simplified vCenter single sign-on domain architecture by enabling vCenter enhanced link board support for vCenter server appliance solution with an embedded blah, blah, blah. And you can use the vCenter server converge. So see, so simple. You also understood. I'm just kidding. Okay, so here, what it means in English is there used to be an installation where if you had been, suppose you join a company and they have earlier versions of vCenter and hypervisors like earlier than 6.7, and there could be companies that still have 6.0, so you will face that then, right? So there would be a platform services controller, PSC. So when you deploy a vCenter, so there it was deployed in kind of two. There are two separate parts that were together deployed. So PSC was used to be platform services controller, and then there is the vCenter actual server. So these two used to get installed together for a small environment, but these two could be separately deployed as well. So there were two sections, either could be deployed together as well as one software, or they could be actually separated as well. So what would be the purpose of PSC then if they were separate? So PSC's purpose was that if you have very big environment and you actually have to deploy two vCenters, and suppose this vCenter was in Toronto branch, and this vCenter is in New York branch, and this vCenter is in Calgary branch, right? So the thing is that you could deploy just the PSC here, and then you can deploy a vCenter here and vCenter there instead of deploying. So if it's a small info deployment, then you don't need to, then you can deploy PSC and vCenter together. But if it's a very big environment, then you can just simply deploy vCenter on other branches and centrally control them with the help of PSC or platform services controller. So that is how it used to do that, and all the licenses were tackled here, and all the security certificates were tackled here for these two hypervisors, or the vCenters actually. Each vCenter can control lots of hypervisors and thousands of virtual machines, right? So if you have two vCenters or three vCenters, there will be two reasons for deploying them. One reason would be you're too huge. Maybe you have 100,000 users, 200,000 users in a company, a global company, and you had to deploy two. Or you're not very big, but you're still deploying separate vCenter for separation of administration. So the New York guys want to handle their own, vCenter their own way, with their own policies and Toronto administrators want to handle. So you can then deploy another vCenter for separation of administration, right? So those are the two reasons. Either you're too big or you just want separation of administration, then you would deploy. But then you would deploy it this way, that PSC would be deployed somewhere central and it would control all the vCenter resources. But that was one way. And if we go back to Z's. So that way is a platform service controller or external platform service controller that is they're saying is removed, which means that if you have two PSCs that they can also collaborate with each other, that was external platform services controller. That suppose you have actually two PSCs as well, and you have like 5 or 6 vCenters. So those two PSCs would collaborate with each other. Hey, I have this many licenses. How many you have? Oh, I have this. They would just collaborate and share the information with each other. So they would both know if they belong to the same company, like how many total licenses we have. If it's a pretty big environment, you have more vCenters. So that would be called external platform controller, right? So it's just connecting, the platform services controller is connecting to yet another platform service controller, making it a connection. This connectivity would be called external platform services controller. So that is being deprecated. That's what they said. Now, this installer allows you to install a vCenter Server 7.0. Okay, so this installation will be two-stage installation. So stage 1 is what we're about to start, and stage 2 will start later. Stage 1 is much longer stage, while stage 2 is preferably comparably smaller stage. So this stage the whole process might take 45 minutes. If everything goes well, then you will be done. Otherwise, if you got an error, so you need to first take a screenshot of the error. If anyone gets an error, I hope you don't, but then you have to redeploy that and I'll tell you how. Okay, so installing the vCenter server is a two-stage process. The first stage involves deploying a new vCenter server to the target ESXi host or a compute resource in the target vCenter server. The second stage completes the setup of the deployed vCenter server. Click next. So pretty much, yeah, let's just start the first stage, and we need to tell it which remote host. In our case, it is ESXi1, right? Which remote host we need to install it on. So I'm going to click next here. And it says the license agreement. We agree with the license and next. Now it says that, hey, where is that host where this VCSA will be living from now on? So in our case, ESXi1 is that host, right? So we need to give the name or IP of that host. So we could just connect. So it is going to be, hopefully if you don't have DNS issue, then the name is okay. Otherwise, IP is also okay, just to make sure that we connect. So, okay, in production environment, you have to give names actually. So here, some students do get errors as well. So then I prefer that, hey, we are in the learning process, so why don't we just give an IP? Otherwise, if you want to give a name, it's your first name is 6601, and the fully qualified domain name would be this. If I go to server manager and go to local server and just showing you that this is the fully qualified domain name, your first name, Vin01 dot the domain name, right? A machine name and the domain name. So this is, it's not exactly this. I'm here with this domain name. So ESXi01, like this name, your first name ESXi01. Okay, let me just use it. And the domain name is this. So let me just show you, if you were supposed to put the name, and let's just put it, it's okay. Let's put the name instead of IP, but if for some reason it's not working for you, then you can change it to IP of Hypervisor 1 as well. So I'm going to put the name here, your first name, ESXi01, and the domain name I copied. So Control V, yep, it's your first name, but obviously there has to be a dot here. So your first name, the name of the hypervisor here, and the name of the domain, because the DNS record is according to this. You could have we could have confirmed from DNS as well. If I go there to DNS, tools, DNS, remember we used to go there, and then for lookup zone. So we can just confirm the spellings from here. If you know the spellings, you're already okay. But otherwise, double click the ESXi, and this is the whole exact thing that you can copy and simply paste there. So that's the correct name, fully qualified domain name, FQDN, right? Your first name is ESXi01 dot, whatever name is here, you must put that name. So whatever name you used here, right? Otherwise, it's not going to connect. Then you have to use the IP, which is okay in just this page. So I'm just going to control V8. It's pretty much the same thing, but I got it from DNS now. ONK. So we need to put the username password of the hypervisor. We know that already. Username is root, and the password is the class password or whatever you gave to the hypervisor. So root and small letter c, capital C, shift point to 3 without shift point to 3. Next. And yes. Set root password, small letter c, capital C, shift point to 3 without shift point to 3. Oh, okay. Hey, this is the, so set up vCenter server VM. Now the VM that we are about to deploy, this is asking the name of that virtual machine that will show inside the VMware workstation. And also, well, that will be showing inside the hypervisor, not the VMware workstation. And also the password for that. So the vCenter password is always powerful one, right? So my class password is actually, it passes their password complexity as well. So I'm just going for the class password. But if you had a bit less powerful password, or if you're giving a password here and it says, no, it's not powerful enough, or it does not qualify the password complexity requirements, then you have to come up with a more complicated password. I'm just going for the class password here. And once that has been given, the name is okay. And that's where I was saying, guys, so suppose, and remember that now, I hope nobody gets an error, right? I hope nobody gets an error. But if you get an error during the long installation, and when you're restarting this wizard again, so you have to just put one here at the end of the name because that name is already in the DNS. So if you don't want to change the DNS record, so just put the name here and put the same password here. So then it will be okay. There is another place where you will have to change the name and IP. I'm going to show that place as well. But if you had to reinstall, then you have to just change the name. I'm just going to click next here. Now here it is, the requirements for the vCenter. And I was telling you before that there are many other paths, like many other configurational requirements. So depends on the size of the company. We are actually we are aiming for the tiny installation. What is tiny installation? Tiny installation is 2 vCPUs. It requires 2 vCPUs, memories, 12 GB RAM minimum, but we gave 10, which is okay. No, the hypervisor has to be 12, so we gave it correct. And storage is 463, not 450, 463, but just a slight difference. But we have 600 GB so space, so we're good. And it supports up to 10 hypervisors maximum. 10 hypervisors. We have only 3 hypervisors, right? And it supports up to 100 VMs. We're going to be creating 5 or 6. But that is the tiny installation. If you are going for small installation, 4 vCPUs, 19 GB memory minimum required, 528 GB storage is required. It supports up to 100 hypervisors. Obviously, with these small, medium, large, extra large Tim Horton cups, no, I mean the vCenter deployments. So you will have to see what is your capacity of your company. And obviously, when you go for medium, you will have to pay more. You go for large, you have to pay much more. So obviously, you have to save your money as well. So you have to actually see that how many hosts and VMs my company needs, and according to that, you deploy the vCenter. So 100 hosts it supports. We have just 3 hypervisors. It supports 100 hypervisors, and 1,000 VMs. Then medium, 8 vCPUs, 28 GB memory, 748 GB space, and 400 hypervisors, 4,000 virtual machines. Large, 16 vCPUs, 37 GB memory, 113 GB storage, 1,000 hosts or 1,000 hypervisors, and 10,000 virtual machines, and then extra large, triple, right? So 24 vCPUs, and then 56 GB memory and 1853 GB storage. 2,000 hypervisors it supports, and 35,000 virtual machines. That should be, if maybe your company has 200,000 employees or 300,000 employees or more, then you go for extra large. Okay, so we get that one vCenter deployment can support up to this much, right? So even the tiny can support a lot of, so this is like 10,000 employees company can even have tiny, because it will support 100 virtual machines. Depends on the nature of work, how much applications, how many applications you're installing, and for whom. Maybe your clients are in hundreds and thousands, and your actual employees are 70 or 80 or 100 only, but your clients, the people who are connecting to get your services, are in hundreds and thousands or millions of clients you have. Then you go still large. Maybe you're hosting some applications that they are connecting, and they are like a million more or more than million clients who are connecting to your applications. So then you would need very large environment, right? Now cloud is offering also big environment. So yeah, it's up to you. Okay, tiny, and then there is small and medium and large. So we're going to stick to tiny, and storage size is also, there's default, there's large, and then there is extra large. So it depends on, you can say that, suppose you need a lot of storage for tiny as well, then you can go for this 3,000 GB, 3 terabyte, 3.2 terabyte storage if you want to do that. But we're going to stick to default for that too. Okay, so tiny and default is good. And we're going to click next. And so we already deployed those LUNs. So we are seeing those data stores here, and they are enough capacity. So we're good. So I'm just going to, for no particular reason, I'm going to go for W1 DS1 for no particular reason. I could choose DS2, we could choose DS3. They're all exactly the same size, so whichever, right? So I'm just going for DS1. Also, I should be enabling thin disk mode. With thin disk mode, obviously it's not going to take a lot of space. In production environment, I would not select that because I need performance, but I need more space for that. But in training environment, performance may not be a big deal for me. It's the space and resources that's a big deal for me. In production environment, obviously, you would have spent thousands of dollars on very good hardware and very high performing hardware, because it's production, right? You're earning money from there. You're giving services to thousands of clients, suppose. So then you need really good performance. Here, we're not really worried about performance. So enable thin disk mode, we have to do that. And I'm selecting W1 DS1 LUN1. It also says install on a new vSAN cluster containing the target host. If vSAN was created, then we could have used that too, but we don't have vSAN yet. It's a big lab coming your way, which only can be done on 32 GB, those laptops which have 32 GB RAM. It's a big one, right? But anyway, we're still in initial stages now. So enable thin disk mode. If that is done, I'm just gonna click next. And this is very, very, very important. This is the information of the new virtual machine that is about to be created. If I go to the diagram here, so we are about to launch the deployment from this hypervisor to this hypervisor, and this is the virtual machine that is about to be created. So the screen where we are on now asks for, hey, what's the name of this machine? What is the IP of this machine? What is the gateway? What is the DNS of this machine? This, what name you're going to give, right? And what is the IP of this machine? So we're going to give a new name to this machine. We're going to give a new IP to this machine. But not only that, we're going to give this information here, we need this information in the DNS of this. Here's a, like, suppose you give a name here, vcsa your first name Humber dot local, right? That's the name of fully qualified domain name you give. It's a new name you need to give to this machine because it's a new machine, right? It has to have a unique name and unique IP. And suppose you give some IP here. So you, before you launch that installation, you have to create a DNS-A record for that, where you put the name of the machine and the IP of the machine here, just like we gave the name and IP in the DNS for these three hypervisors. For this new machine, you have to create a DNS record as well. So whatever name we come up with now, before we launch that installation, long installation, we need to come here, create an A record here with the correct name and IP that we gave here, and then we're going to click next, and it will start the installation, right? So that is mucho importante. That is very, very important, right? So let's give this machine name and IP and gateway and DNS, because it's a new machine, we have to give that, right? So name, what would be the name? We can just call it VCSA, and a dot, and whatever our domain name is. My domain name is your first name humb.local. So VCSA dot your first name humb.local. Okay, the screenshot for this screen is coming. And VCSA dot your first name humb.local. Now, guys, okay, let me just fill that. Then I'll tell you that if you got an error and you had to redeploy. So this is the page where also you will give VCSA1 and then the IP, and then you have to change the DNS record here if you are redeploying, if you had to redeploy. Okay, so here, what IP we haven't used in this network? 192.168.200 dot. So I'm going to check the DNS that what IP we did not hit. So there's the DNS here, right? Where did I get to that DNS? Tools, DNS, and for lookup zone, expand that, and then your first name hum.local. So I can see that I've used 10, 1, 2, 3, 135, 10. So I haven't used 4 yet. So I'm going to use 192.168.200.4 because I haven't used it yet, right? In the DHCP or statically. So I'm just going to go back to this green button here. I'm just going to put 4 here. Okay, subnet mask, yeah, it's the same 255.255.255.0. And the default gateway is exactly the same as the default gateway of all the hypervisors. So it's 192.168.200.10. DNS is exactly the same, 192.168.200.10. All right. So your information should be exactly like this, but we're not done yet. We have to create an A record in the DNS, and we're going to tell that, hey, this is the name of our new machine that is about to be created, and this is the IP of the new machine that is about to be created. So let's keep this page open. Let's carefully go to the DNS and create an A record. So where is the DNS? I'll go to the server manager, the suitcase icon here, and go to tools and go to DNS. And then I'll go to forward lookup zone, and then your first name hum.local. So I'm just gonna right click here on your first name hum.local. As soon as I right click, I see this new host A record, right? Oh, Pradeep says only one data store shown for me. Oh, Pradeep, one data store. So last class, were all 3 database being shown there? Because now your storage is not working. It's not perfectly configured. And it broke for some reason. And you have to either recreate it by watching the old video or troubleshoot it. You can just start all 3 hypervisors. I tried last week, steps like rescan and refresh. And you saw the 3 data stores in all three hypervisors, like we checked, Pradeep? Last class. So yeah, you can just quickly share the screen. So yeah, hopefully you're sharing the screen. Okay. Yeah, you can go to, yeah, first machine. Oh, that's not good. So let's go to your, yeah, this suitcase icon, server manager. Oh, it's not even in the hypervisor. Okay, yeah, here. And then go to the file and storage services on the top. Yeah, server manager. No, server manager. And then go down to the last one, file and storage services. Yeah, this one. And iSCSI. Yeah, not connected. What is this? Why not connected? Hey, did it really connect? Because it's supposed to say connected. It was, if it was connected last class. 200.1. Can you scroll to the right side? Did you go through the last lab with us? If your mic is up. 200.192.168, 200.2, 192.168, 200.3. Yeah, your IP configuration seems okay. Okay, let's go to the server one. ESXi1 in the Chrome. Yeah. Wow, your Windows is also. Yeah, okay. So go to devices. Oh, sorry. No. Yeah, here. You see the desktop, yeah, devices, this one. And there are just two devices. Go to adapters beside it. Beside the devices, there is adapters. Yeah, this one. And go to iSCSI, software SCSI. Software iSCSI. Master G. Okay, so translation of Master G is respected teacher. This is, desi way to say, Master G. Hey, you didn't do the lab. Why is it on disabled? It's supposed to be on enabled. We did the whole lab like this. I think you have to start all the three hypervisors, follow the last class video. We spent like 2 hours on that to enable and then give the path of the target, right? So that part of the lab you did not finish. So it's not supposed to be on disabled, it's supposed to be enabled. And then we did a lot of configurations, right? So you can see the last video and catch up with us. And you can also catch up with today's video, but try to understand now, right? But there's a long list of steps you need to do. Okay, right? So yeah, and you have to start all three hypervisors and click enable on all three hypervisors and go through the steps that I showed there in the video, because there are a lot of steps and I won't be able to repeat that right here. Okay, so yep, try to catch up with last video. It's on the YouTube already. And then maybe you might catch up very soon with us. So I'll let you know about where we are here. Okay, guys, here. So yes, and participants was a yeah. So we're going to create here. Right click in the DNS. We're in the DNS, right? And in the DNS, we expanded the forward lookup zone, and then we went to your first name, right click on top of this, and then you have to go to this new host A or AA. Let's click that A record, just like we created the A record for the hypervisors. Now we're going to create it for the vCenter as well. The only name you're going to put here is VCSA, because that's the name we're giving. You don't have to put the whole domain name, because domain name is being automatically added here. Also, the correct IP needs to be written here. So 192.168.200.4. So guys, so again and again, I'm saying if you got an error during the long installation, so you have to come back here and you have to give a new A record as well when you're redeploying this and you reach this stage. Suppose you have to redeploy and you reach this stage, so you will be, in case of redeployment because of error, if you had to come back here, then you do this, uh, put it 1 and put it 5, and then obviously you have to go here and put it 1 and put it 5 here. You have to do all this when you're redeploying if you got an error. Right now you don't have to do that, obviously, because there's no error, so I'm just putting back, but I'm just saying that if an error is received, then you have to create a separate A record, and you have to change that here as well at that time. Right now we don't have any errors, so we don't need to do this. So basically you're changing the name so you could quickly start the installation again. Otherwise you have to delete the previous record and then you can keep the same name. So anyway, we're just giving this A record. So if this is correct, name and IP, yes it is. So I'm just going to click add host. The rest is okay. Add host. It says the host vcsa.hum.local was successfully created. I'm just going to press OK, and I'm going to click DONE done, right? Then I'm going to go to the server name and I'm going to refresh, 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 refresh. Just a few million times you have to refresh. And then we have to again go this time to the reverse lookup zone just to confirm if the pointer record or PTR record has been automatically created inside the reverse lookup zone. So if I go there, yes, this VCSA and 200.4 has been created. So yes, automatically in the reverse lookup zone, the pointer record has been created, PTR record has been created as well. So we're good now. And once this is done, I'm going to minimize this, and we are actually ready to launch. So fasten your seatbelts and no smoking, please. Just kidding. Okay. So here, yeah, we're good. And if you have put in all this stuff like this, so we're good. So let's click next. We're about to actually launch. So here, guys, you need to take the screenshot number 1, about to install vCenter. So take screenshot number 1, about to, and the screenshot name is about to install vCenter, actually stage 1, about to install vCenter stage 1, about to install vCenter stage 1. So I'm just going to take a sample screenshot here with my name there. And place it in the screenshot 1, about to install vCenter stage 1. Right? That's the label of the screenshot. Luke says in the chat, sir, can you show the configurations once more quickly? Configurations. Okay. From the start of the class or where? Oh, the configurations on the last page. Okay. I got it. So that's the first screenshot here. And so these are the configurations. Yep. Are you saying this?
No, sir, from the third end user after end user license agreement.
From the start of the course? Oh, okay, I'm just kidding.
After, from third step.
Hey, where have you been all this time? Okay, that's the first step. Are you there?
Sorry, sir, just, yes.
Okay, next. And hopefully you click this. So you can say yes when you're done. So I could go ahead. Okay. And then this. So it's your name, ESXi01 dot domain.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's done. Okay. Next, then press yes. And you should be on this. If that is done, let me know.
Okay.
So it's already written there, and the password, it needs to be written. Yeah, done.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Next, nothing here. Default. Next. And yeah, I selected DS1 and enable thin disk mode.
Okay, sir.
Uh-huh. And now this. So hopefully you've, and
Okay.
you have an A record as well. Oh, you're comparing. You've actually done it, right? Like,
I got some error there, sir.
oh, you got an error? So it's
Yeah,
exactly like this, what you did?
No, I think some mistake is there. Let me go through. Okay.
Okay, you can
Let me
quickly
check.
share your screen.
Let me check that.
Okay, you're shooting yourself or you want to share the screen? Okay, so yeah, sharing the screen. Okay. What's going on here? Oh, where are you? Which place is this? Stage 1. Source appliance, SSO. Where's this? Okay, click back. Hey, you got the correct VCSA. You enter user license. Is it 7 point? Yeah, you can show the name. Yeah, you're saying. Mm-hmm.
You choose upgrade instead of install.
Oh, okay. Yes, it could be that. Cancel. Anoop, cancel. Oh, come on, man. Install. Install. Master G. That means respected teacher. Yeah, next. Now you should be doing all this. Hey, how come you were saying everything okay when you were seeing my screen? Okay. Accept. Next. Yeah, so you have to put, you know, A6i1. Okay, he's clicked upgrade. Okay. So here you can just put the name of your machine. So DNS is open, right? So go to DNS. Yes, white one. Yeah, white one. Yeah, this one. And okay. And then go to the ESXi1. Where's the one? 200. Yeah, this is, and yeah, select this whole name, copy, and that's it. Go back to the Chrome or, oh, you're not using Chrome. Wow. You're on some other planet, man. You have totally different configurations than we have, or I have. Okay. Yeah, and then password. Yeah, whichever you're using, password. Yeah, yes. And the same password again. Okay, so see, one small mistake and so much class time is then spent doing that. And also, if there's difficulty in following and you're not fast enough, then you can repeat the lab when the video is started, because I have to show the whole thing in the class. Okay, nothing here, defaults. Next. WDS1, W1, DS1, and no, go down. There's a scroll. Yeah, thin, enable thin mode, thin disk. Next. And now you need to put the new name, which is vcsa dot your domain name. Control V, because you have that. If you know the domain name, just write it. Otherwise, Control V, and then just remove the and the pass IP. Yeah, good. VCSA is okay. Yeah, and IP is 192.168.200.4 and 255.255.255.0. 192.168.200.10. And yeah, same 192.168.200.10. So that's kind of it. Just click next once and stay there. Yeah, click next. Stay there. Don't click. And you have to take a screenshot of it. But did you create a record for this? So go to the DNS again and create a quick A record for what you just gave now. vcsa.anoophumber.local. Yeah, just create a new one. Yeah, right click. And second one, yeah, new host. And VCSA. That only put VCSA. You're good. Yeah, that's it. And 192.168.200.4. So once that is done, just refresh on the server name. Go to the left side above. Anoop server, yeah, Win01. Click that server first and refresh. Anoop's, yeah, Win server, yeah, this one. And refresh. Now you're good. Now let's go ahead and did you take the screenshot of that? So yeah, reverse lookup zone, you can confirm there if it got created. 200.4 is created. Now take a screenshot of this screen. You're good. You should be good. And then we'll click finish. But take a screenshot, and the name is okay. I'll just share my screen now. We're good. Okay. Let's carry. So those who have taken the screenshot, you can click next and finish, and we should be. Then it's like see you on the other side kind of thing, because it's wrong installation. If I click next now, oh, the screenshot name is about to install Vcenter Stage 1. About to install Vcenter Stage 1. So take a screenshot name about to install Vcenter Stage 1. Okay, so well, this is it. Hopefully I don't get an error, you don't get an error, nobody gets an error, and we go ahead on stage 2. So I'm just going to click finish now. And it starts. Ta-da. So what we can do is we can take that break now instead of at that time. How about that? So it's going to take even maybe longer than that. So we take a 20-minute break. And so we don't have to use the rest of the time in the break then. So 7:47, 7:37, 7:47. So I'll just put here break was 7:47. Okay, pausing this recording and muting. Recording. Okay, so Zamir says in the chat, your machine is fast. I'm still initializing 0%. Is it normal? No, it's not. Is it still the same, Xavier? And I'll just look at my machine. It just locked me out. No, not locked me out. So I'll. All right, stage 1 is done. So hopefully everyone's stage 1 is done. Their stage 1. Okay, Nicholas is at 54%. Series on 40%. Woo. Hey, this means you guys are all going good. I mean, you're behind me, right? So anyone went ahead of me, then it's -10 temperature. But hey, how come you're so slow? Why? Anyone done? No one done. No. Well, then shall I go ahead and record the video till the end and let you follow the video and read kind of that, but that's terribly slow. So well, for the recording, I'll continue from here, I guess, or what do you say? So well, here on first stage 1, they also say that this is the URL. What is this URL for? This one, right? This URL we need to understand is for vCenter management interface, right? vCenter server management interface. vCenter server management interface. So what is that? That is also a very important thing. vCenter server management interface. So that is a URL. Now with this URL we can go to the site, we can say local site that helps us manage the vCenter machine, which means we can manage, modify VCSA IP settings. So IP settings, gateway, backup. We can take backup from here. Also license of this particular machine, this VM, and total management of this particular machine, not the whole environment. So etc. We can manage this particular VCSA virtual machine, but not the whole environment, right? So that is another URL that manages the whole environment. And but this URL takes us to the management page where we can manage this particular VCSA, because this VCSA or this virtual machine is very, very important. Through this virtual machine, we can manage the whole environment, right? So that's why this URL. So this URL is shown to us at stage 1 the other purpose of showing this at stage one, at the end of successful end of stage one, is that suppose you want to continue with stage two later, so you can just go to that URL and then even continue some other time as well. So what we're going to continue at this time, because I need to show you all the configurations, right? And it's being recorded, so even if you're not there yet, so you can still follow the video and finish the finish the lab by following the recording. So I'm just going to click continue here. And that's stage two, where it is saying stage two, set up the vCenter server. Installing the vCenter server is a two-stage process. The first stage has been completed. Click next to proceed to the stage two. So I'm just going to click stage two here. It asks for well, first of all, secure shell access. So and synchronize the time. So what is the source of your vCenter application's time with which it can match and correct its own time? So its source would be Hypervisor. This application vCenter's source of time would be the hypervisor itself. So whatever is the time of the hypervisor will be the time of the application as well, which is okay. And then I'm just going to click enable here for secure shell access. And that is used when you are remotely connected and then giving commands to the machine. So I'm just going to click next here. It's going to ask just a few more questions, and it's going to continue with the stage two deployment, which is not very long. It's asking for a domain name. Remember that we gave a domain name to the Windows machine when we were installing Active Directory, which is the central authentication, authorization, and accounting for Windows. But this is the domain for VMware vCenter. So suppose later you want to deploy another vCenter, it will join this domain, whatever you put here now. And suppose it's a big environment, or for separation of administration for multiple branches, maybe you have multiple vCenters, so they could all join to the domain which you will, and its name you can just come up with now. So it does suggest that you can just name it vsphere.local, or you could just name it anything else. So we're going to exactly do that. We're going to go for vsphere.local. vsphere.local, right? So single sign-on domain name vsphere.local. Administrator is just like the Windows machine has administrator as the default username. The vCenter application also has administrator as the default username. And the password would be the class password in my case, small abc, capital ABC, shift123, shift123, tab, small abc, capital ABC, shift123, shift123, right? Okay, so this join an existing SSO domain. SSO is single sign-on, SSO, single sign-on, right? So this domain is when you want to deploy more than one vCenter and you want to attach it. So then the second vCenter, when you're deploying, suppose, then you will select this join an existing SSO domain. For the second vCenter, we are just deploying the first vCenter. That's why we have selected this one. So I'm just going to click next. And now it says, yeah, customer experience improvement program. So we don't want to improve this application. So I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm still unchecking this. So I'm not joining this plan. I'm just going to click next. And there's the stage two summary. So this is another screenshot now. So I'm just going to take a sample screenshot. Many of you may not be on this stage, so it's okay. You can finish the lab when the video releases. I'm continuing to this, to really show you the whole thing and record it in the video, so it could be available for you to finish it later. Those who were unable to be with me on this page because of the speed. It's a big application, so yes, we were expecting that. Okay, so that's a screenshot number 2, about to install vCenter stage 2. So that's the screenshot, sample screenshot I'm just going to take here. So whenever you reach this stage, you can also take a screenshot of this, and it would be about to install. So that was about to install Vcenter stage 1. Now about to install Vcenter stage 2. So about to install Vcenter stage 2. About to install Vcenter stage 2. All right. And that would be our second screenshot. So I'm just going to click finish to initiate the stage 2. It's not going to be very long. So I'll click finish, and it says you will not be able to pause or stop. Yeah, whatever. So just press OK again. And it's going to continue with stage 2 now. Okay, so while this is going on, so we will talk about the Vcenter, and I'll just grab some more stuff here. On the other screen. Well, so what we're gonna do once the Vcenter is deployed, so I'm just gonna put some steps here. So we're gonna explore the whole application as well, unless you want me just to install today the Vcenter, and then you reach up to catch up to this, and then we can start configuration of the Vcenter together in next class. If you want that, let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep going. So Vcenter, then let's go to the DVD, and we've done that. So I'll just fill up the rest here as well. Then we install stage 1 and stage 2. Once the Vcenter is fully installed, then on the last page, take the screenshot 3 with label Vcenter installed. So that would be our screenshot 3 when stage 2 finishes, right? And after that, so let's open the URL of Vcenter in Google Chrome, and try to log in with the credentials. Username would be administrator, password equals obviously it would be oh, sorry, did I say administrator? Username, you have to put, when you are logging into the Vcenter, you have to put the full username, administrator at vsphere.local, and the password would be small ABC, capital ABC, shift 123 without shift 123, right? So that would be the password. And once we log in successfully, then we will be shutting down the Win01 virtual machine. No, we'll be shutting down the ESXi01 hypervisor, also called host, right? And what we're going to do is, once the machine is done, then it's 12 GB, right? So we would have to put it down to reduce the RAM, right? We shut down the hypervisor, you should say one. That's changed the RAM of Win01 hypervisor to 10 GB and power on. Why are we doing it from 12 to 10? 12 was a installation prerequisite, but now we desperately need RAM for the other hypervisors to start, because some of our laptops are total 16 GB. So we need as much RAM as possible, right? So let's change the RAM of Win01 hypervisor to 10 GB and power on. Once ESXi01 is powered on, then we will remote into the ESXi01 and change the RAM of VCSA from 10 GB to 8 GB, which is torture for this virtual machine because it needs much more RAM. 8 GB, and then power it on. So we must understand that VCSA virtual machine or appliance, viral machine, virtual machine will take what? VCSA virtual machine will take a long time to start, as its background services will start, and it does not have enough RAM as well, so it's going to take time, right? So that's the next immediate steps. And once we have configuration of vCenter, once that is all done, if we all reach that, and then it is done, so we will once we are logged in to the vCenter, then let's create two folders. So what are folders? We're going to check it out. Folders called Canada and US. Then we will create one data center inside the folder called Canada by the name of Tor BC. So we're going to create a data center. So what is a data center? We're going to talk about that too. We will create one data center inside the folder called US by the name of NYDC. Right. Then we will add ESXi02 hypervisor to Core DC and ESXi03 hypervisor to NYDC, right? So within the vCenter, we create data centers. Data center has pretty much all the advanced features of the vCenter, through which we control the whole environment. And in order to implement those advanced features with the help of data center, we have to introduce the data center to the hypervisor. So we're going to introduce ESXi2 hypervisor to data center Tor DC, and we're going to introduce ESXi3 hypervisor to data center called NYDC, right? But when we are configuring all that, obviously I'm going to be explaining again all this. So right now, is it? It's 60%. So he says, did you make screenshot 2 already? Yeah. Screenshot 2 is, did I not put it on WhatsApp? No, I didn't. Zoinks. Oh, yeah, thanks for reminding. I'll just put it on WhatsApp as well. So screenshot 2 about to install vCenter stage 2. So this is stage 2 screenshot. And I'll put it in WhatsApp as well. So that's screenshot 2. If you've reached stage 2, like stage 1 is done. So definitely that over the way is the thing. So Vcenter management, yeah, we have we will be doing all this, and Vcenter server management was the link for just managing this particular virtual machine, not the whole environment. And once the vCenter is deployed and we shut down, change the RAM again and start again, and then log in again, then we're going to be doing some basic configuration of vCenter to control the whole environment. So we're going to do step by step, slowly, everything. Yes, Xavier, enable SSH. Okay, let's try to 65%. Right. While this is going on, I will try to grab another, or I will create that folder for today, because the installation is taking time. Courses, and then certified. And running hypervisors, it's week 8. So we go 65%. I think after that it's gonna shoot up to some other higher number. Well, it's on 67% now. And 67%. So the screenshot is on like stage 2 when you're about to start that, right? %69%. Wow, scrolling. %81% Siri says, okay, stage 1. Nicholas says stage 1, 97%. Okay. So there's a competition going on. That's good. %73% stage 2. 35, stage 2. Okay, 89%. While this is going on, let's just talk about the vCenter server. Oh, it's 91% now. Serious. So there is centralized management with vCenter server, deploying vCenter server, Vsphere licensing. So I'll just go with some VMware slides as well, and we'll upload that in the Blackboard as well. And I've already put that upload link there for week 8. Okay, so here describe vCenter. So we talked about vCenter before as well. vCenter server acts as a central administration point for ESXi hosts and virtual machines that are connected in a network. Yeah, we talked about that. Directs the actions of VMs and hosts, runs on a Linux-based appliance. So it's already also Linux-based appliance, but they have come up with their own Photon OS instead of Linux SUSE Enterprise 11. So then they control the updates of their own OS as well. And vCenter server services include vCenter server, vSphere client. So client is with which we connect, and I'll be showing you that. So it's just a browser-based client, and it's a URL that you need to know, and you put the URL in any browser within the network, which can access within the network on any machine, and that machine should be able to ping the vCenter machine. If that's the case, then you can just put the URL of the vCenter in the browser of that machine, and you will be able to connect to vCenter itself. And other than that, vCenter single sign-on, we just saw that single sign-on. So single sign-on basically means that if you have multiple applications, different applications that would to connect and log into those applications. So single sign-on just lets you use one set of credentials, like one username, password, and then you can connect to multiple types of application using just one username, password. So we do that a lot in Google services as well. You just log in from one Google username, password, and you're able to connect to many Google applications. So that's the same thing here. That through vCenter credentials, you can connect to many other appliances if you had purchased and deployed those. So suppose there's a monitoring appliance called vRealize. And if you have installed that, if you purchase that license and install that and integrated with vCenter, so you can just use vCenter username, password to not only connect to the vCenter, but to that appliance, the monitoring application as well, through the same credentials. You don't have to have separate credentials for the monitoring application. So single sign-on means just that just one vCenter credentials, you can connect to many other applications that integrate with vCenter. So it provides single sign-on, and then license services. Yes, all the licensing services are handled by vCenter. So licenses of the hypervisors, the applications and appliances, all the licenses requirements are handled centrally by the vCenter. So vCenter lookup service, so you can search across the whole vCenter environment where you want to search some virtual machine, you want to search on any other hypervisor, any virtual machine, or any file or ISO that you put there, so you can do a central lookup or search. Vmware certificate authority, so any security certificate that you purchase, just to let the users know that this is your this virtual machine or this hypervisor is a legit hypervisor or virtual machine, and it's not by a hacker. So you can purchase and then put security certificates for those machines as well, and that is also handled by the vCenter. Then there's content library, which we will be doing a lab on. It's just that maybe we've done it. Okay, I'll check it out. But content library is just like a file server within the VMware environment where you can put some file there and you can access it later. Like ISO, you can put their templates or virtual machines, you can put there the content library, and then you can access them later. So content library just creates a folder inside data store or on any Linux machine, just to save files to be accessed later. And ESXi dump collector. Dumps are dump files or log files that tell you what's going on with a timestamp. Suppose yesterday night your hypervisor restarted, so that would be recorded in a dump file with timestamp and some error codes there and some kind of details. So those dump files can be collected from different hypervisors centrally, and that also what vCenter offers. So he says we have access to this VMware template. Yes, I'll be uploading that to the Blackboard as well. When you deploy vCenter server clients, all these services are included. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be exploring a lot of vCenter services there, and then vCenter server is supported by the Vsphere client, the vCenter server database, and managed hosts. Okay, so here. When we are installing vCenter, there's a database, internal database getting deployed as well. And suppose it's a very big organization, so you could have a separate SQL Server database or actually an Oracle database, and you can connect that database to the vCenter, and then you can deploy that machine. vCenter configurations could be saved in a separate database as well, or just like our small tiny installation, we have inbuilt database, which is PostgreSQL database that is installed within this virtual machine, right? And the Photon OS is, kind of part Linux code and part their own VMware code, with which they created a OS called Photon OS. That's what I was talking about before. and it is deployed. This virtual machine is deployed on top of a hypervisor. In our case, it is ESXi1. And through Vsphere client, which is just a URL inside a browser, we can remotely connect to this vCenter application as well. And vCenter controls all the hypervisors and their virtual machines and the applications inside, pretty much everything that is inside a VMware environment. And yeah, so it's about vCenter single sign-on. vCenter single sign-on provides authentication across multiple vSphere components through a secure token mechanism. User logs into the vCenter client. We're going to be doing that. vCenter single sign-on authenticates credentials against a directory service, for example, Active Directory. So if we connect VMware to the Active Directory, we can also get authentication from Windows Active Directory or Microsoft Active Directory, but it has its own directory service where you can create usernames and passwords and groups there as well, and assign permissions. So you can do that. A SAML token is sent back to the user's browser. So to the user browser, a SAML token, a secure token, or a message is sent to the user, hey, we got your information and we got correct credentials information and other sensitive information about you. So yes, we allow you to log into the vCenter. SAML token is sent to the vCenter and the user is granted access. So that's kind of a process of user connecting to the vCenter, and then vCenter looks like this from inside. With enhanced link mode, you can log into a single sign instance of vCenter server and manage the inventories of all the vCenter server systems. So as I was saying before, suppose you have two vCenter. So now we're in the process of installing one vCenter, right? But suppose you have two vCenters. So if they are connected with each other, that is called enhanced linked mode, right? And you can connect up to 15 vCenter server instances together in one single sign-on domain or SSO. Our single sign-on domain name right now is vsphere.local, right? But you can connect to this domain 15 vCenters, up to 15 vCenters. So that's pretty big, or you just want separation of administration. Well, I'm going to check my environment here. It is locked again. Okay, I'm done. Yay. Okay. Anyone else done? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay, Nicholas is about to be there. 36% on stage 2. Woo-hoo. And maybe others are on stage 2's end. Well, when you do reach stage 2, so this is the third screenshot, guys, that you need to take, and that is the stage 2 complete. So you can just take a screenshot with the screenshot label as vCenter installed. So that's the screenshot label. I'm just going to take a screenshot here, and you will be taking your named screenshot. So and screenshot name would be vCenter installed. So that's the third screenshot now. Screenshot 3 of vCenter installed. So you need to take a screenshot of that. I'll take a sample screenshot. So I'll just put it in WhatsApp as well, screenshot 3. So it's vCenter installed, and we are going. I'll put this diagram here. So all right, so if we go back here to our environment, now you can see the URL for the actual vCenter environment. From this URL, you will be able to control the whole environment of VMware, the hypervisors, the virtual machine. You will be able to control the whole environment. So if we get back, so this was just the administration of the vCenter virtual machine itself with the 5480 port, but the VCSA with which you can control the whole environment, that is going to be the following URL here, which is not this one. I copied it, but I think it is not. All right, anyway. So I'll just write that https://vcsa dot my first name hum.local. So I'll just write it down. The URL to access the vCenter to control the whole VMware environment is https:// vcsa dot, okay, so vcsa dot your first name dot local / small UI, right? So it's a / small UI. Now if you type here colon 443, so that's the HTTPS already, so it's gonna vanish. Like it's not gonna appear if you put it in the browser. It's understood that if it is starting with HTTPS, so it's already using 443, but that's the URL for. So the syntax would be https :/ machine name dot domain name, right, / small UI. So it has to be small UI. If you put capital UI, it's not going to work. It's Linux, it's case sensitive. So that's how it will work. So vCenter URL, right? So when we are done with the stage 2 and it's on this page, once at least we have to click on this URL and we need to try to log in with the credentials administrator@vsphere.local and the password to at least check if we are able to successfully log in or not. So once we are successfully logged into the vCenter application, then we will shut down the hypervisor and we're going to change its RAM down to only for those who have total of 16 GB RAM in their laptop. Those who have 32 GB RAM in their laptop, you don't have to change anything. But for those who have total of 16 GB RAM in their laptop can follow me and change the ESXi01 RAM from 12 GB to 10 GB and the machine RAM from 10 GB to 8 GB, right? So we're going to try to log in and first, if we have successfully installed the whole thing. So I'm just going to click on this URL now, which will open in a browser, right? So I'm going to click this URL after taking a screenshot of this. And yes, it opens in the browser. You can see that vcsa dot your first name hum.local, although I don't see /UI here. But if I just, because there's no security certificate here, so I'm just going to have to click advanced here and then proceed to this URL. And if I click that, now it says here, hey, do you want to launch vSphere client HTML5? So yes, I want to launch the client, and that will, once I click this button, it's going to add /UI here, and then we will be able to see the credentials screen to log into the vCenter, right? So in diagram, what we are doing now is we are connecting here to from this hypervisor to this hypervisor and to this application inside this application now, right? So I'll just go back here and click this. And now you can see that /UI has been attached here. As soon as I click that HTML5 client. And now it's a, you know, there used to be that Java-based client before, but then you had to install the Java add-on to the browser. And it was pain in the neck. Sometimes when Java add-on would not install, then you cannot log in. So they created a simpler HTML5 client. All right. So then we don't depend on Java anymore to connect to the Vcenter environment. So now here I'm connecting to the application Vcenter for the first time, and its username is actually not root. Its username is administrator at vsphere.local. So it's administrator at vsphere.local, and then well, my class password. Okay, so that's the username password that you need to use to log in to, if you put the correct domain name there exactly with these spellings. Sometimes students make spell mistake here when they were putting a domain name there. One student actually forgot the P here, so VSHERE, he put that during the installation. So then throughout the course, he had to use that domain name, whatever domain name he put there with whatever spellings, right? I put this spelling, so it should be working. I'm just gonna click login now. And now it's just logging in to the Vcenter for the first time. And yeah, it does take time or not. Okay, it's there. So now we're logged in to this, to the Vcenter. So that's the first page of the Vcenter. And obviously that should be our fourth screenshot, logged in to Vcenter. Okay, so fourth screenshot here would be logged in to the Vcenter. As soon as your first login is there without doing anything else, you can take that screenshot, logged in to the Vcenter. Logged in to the Vcenter. Oh, screenshot for logged into the Vcenter, right? And I'll take a screenshot of the screenshot. All right. So anyone done stage 2? Oops, no one. Nicholas, 81% on stage 2. Okay, that's good. So see this memory exhaustion on VCSA. It's already saying that, and while we have 10 GB RAM, right? Like 12 GB RAM, I guess. And not I guess, we can just see that from here. Oh, it's not even grabbing the information yet. Okay. So this is the basic vCenter environment, and we're going to create and build here, by right-clicking here and create a new folder, new data centers, and I'll be explaining all that step by step. Then there is virtual machine environment, storage environment, and network environment. I'll be explaining all that as well. But once we log into this, then we can go to the rest of the steps, which is if you have successfully logged in. So once we are logged into the Vcenter, then let's create 2 folders. Actually, that is later. These are the main steps here. Once we log in successfully, then we will be shutting down the ESXi1 hypervisor, the host. Let's change RAM of Win01 hypervisor. Seriously, it's not Win01, it's ESXi01, ESXi01 hypervisor to 10 GB and power on. So we had given it 12 GB, and we're going to change it to 10 GB because we need all the RAM to start the other hypervisors as well, which will be on 4 GB. That is for those who are having 16 GB laptops. Those who have 32 GB RAM laptops, you don't have to change this, what we're doing. Let's change the RAM to, okay, only for those who have a total RAM of 16 GB in their laptop. Those who have 32 GB RAM do not have to do this, right? Okay, all right. All right. So here, I'm going to do that now. I will be shutting down this hypervisor, right? Now, there's that thing, we can remotely connect now to ESXi1 and change the RAM of this vCenter, but obviously that machine has to be shut down first and then change the RAM and then shut down the hypervisor and change its RAM as well, right? So what we can do is I'll just go for the hypervisor as per our steps in the slide. So I'm just going to shut down the hypervisor, which will shut down the machine as well. Obviously, once this hypervisor is shut down, the vCenter machine is also shut down. And so we will not be able to remotely connect to the vCenter anymore, but we successfully once connected and now know that, okay, it works fine. The vCenter works fine, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here to this. I'm going to shut down this hypervisor. So what I can do is maybe I don't have to go too far because so many students are still behind. So what I can do is I can shut down this hypervisor and change the RAM and then start the hypervisor and change the RAM of the virtual machine as well. And then start it once and connect to it once again. And then, yeah, we can stop the class there. And then you can reach there by following the video, or you can just take your time to follow that. And we can start configuring the vCenter in next class if you want. So that can be done as well. So the hypervisor is shut down now, and it's 12 GB RAM. I'm just gonna, why am I decreasing the RAM? Actually, we need to still increase more, but we don't have a lot of RAM in the laptops for those who have 16 GB RAM. So we need as much RAM as we could have, right? So I'm decreasing this RAM to 10 GB for the hypervisor. So if I go back to the diagram here, this the RAM for the hypervisor, we're putting 10 GB RAM, and for the virtual machine, we're going to put 8 GB. So this machine had 10 GB RAM before, and the hypervisor had 12 GB, but we are even decreasing more. Also, this RAM of Win01 can be 1 GB as well. For those laptops that have a total of 16 GB RAM, those laptops which have 32 GB RAM do not have to do this. Like they can still have 2 GB. If you have total of 32 GB RAM, then you can keep the Win01 as 2 GB, right? So this is just for those who have total RAM of 16 GB in the laptop. So I have shut down the hypervisor and I'm changing the RAM to 10 GB. Then I'm going to power it on. I'm going to remotely connect to this hypervisor. I'll change the RAM of this VCSA machine from 10 GB to 8 GB. And then I'm going to power on this machine. So the application is pretty big. So it's going to take a lot of time to actually connect, to let's again connect to the vCenter. So I'm just going to reach there till I'm able to connect to the vCenter again after the shutdown and power on, right? So then you will see that how long it takes just to start the background services of the vCenter. So I'm just going to change the hypervisor 12 GB RAM to 10 GB. Those having 32 GB laptop, you don't have to do that. I'm just saying again and again. Okay, or you can just put here 10088. Then I'm going to press OK here. It's even not even 10. It's 9.9 at least. Although it's pretty near to 10. Okay, 10812. 10812. That will make it 10.6. Okay. Still okay. So 10.6 GB RAM. And I'm going to power it on. Then I'm going to remotely connect to this hypervisor and reduce the RAM of the virtual machine to 8 GB and then power that machine on and then try to remotely connect and log into that. That will take some time because now, because of the low RAM, it's going to take more time for the application to start. So just this, because later we need to start these hypervisors as well, right? They're 4 GB and so 10 here and 1 here. Actually, I need to shut down Win01 and make this RAM as 1 GB. Although I have 32 GB RAM, but for those who have 16 GB RAM, you have to shut down this and make it 1 GB. Only those, again and again, I'm saying, only those guys who have total of 16 GB RAM in their laptop should shut down this Win01 and make it 1 GB RAM instead of 2 GB, right? You can go ahead and do that. So this hypervisor is powering on again. And once it is fully powered on, I'm just going to remotely connect to it and then change the RAM of the VCSA virtual machine and then power that machine on as well. And then I'll try to remotely connect inside. Even reaching that will take you a long time as well. So I'll just stop at that. And then by next week, we should be ready. Guys, because the vCenter is now there, especially this machine, E6i1, whenever you're shutting down, you have to go power and suspend guest. So first make sure that this vCenter is fully powered on, the virtual machine is fully powered on and you are logged in, then only suspend guest. Because when you come to the next class and you power on, resume this machine, so it's not going to take a long time for the background services to start because services will be already started. When we shut down like this, the services are frozen. They're not shut down. The background services of vCenter application are frozen. So when you resume, so they are unfrozen, which means they are just running again. So they don't have to take long time to start, right? So that's the logic. Okay, so my machine hypervisor is fully started and it's now 10.6 GB. I'll remotely connect from my Win01 machine. Obviously, I was connected successfully before, but now it's not going to. If I refresh this, this will go away because when you shut down the hypervisor, the virtual machine inside also shuts down, but virtual machine does not automatically start. So it's not gonna really be there because the virtual machine of VCSA is still shut down. So I'm just going to remotely connect to that. First, I need to connect to that first hypervisor, E6i1. Is it E6i1? Yes, it's E6i1. Root is the username for the hypervisor. And password small abc, capital ABC, shift 123, dot shift 123. Oh, it says refresh browser. Okay, I'll refresh the browser. Paused, proceed, root, then small ABC, capital ABC, shift 123, dot shift 123. And so there's one virtual machine here, obviously our VCSA. I'm just going to go to that virtual machine. And it has used on the disk, on the storage, it has used up to 23 GB. So you can see how big is this application. I'm going to go to the RAM of this machine. I'm going to reduce it from 10 GB to 8 GB, right? So I can just right click directly on this machine and then go down to this edit settings, right? And two vCPUs, 12 GB RAM. Oh, it was 12. Serious? Okay. So I'm gonna make it 8 GB. 8 GB RAM, right? That's it. I'll make it 8 GB RAM, and that's good. That's all I need to do, which is very, very low for this. So if you have 32 GB total RAM, you don't have to do this. You do not have to do this. If you have 16 GB RAM on your laptop, then just do this. I have 32, but for the 16 GB RAM, guys, I have to do that just to show them. So once it is 8 GB, it's really brutal. It's not fair to this machine. This application needs a lot of RAM. So anyway, I'm just going to power on this machine. Good luck. 2 vCPUs, 8 GB RAM. So the thumbnail shows that it's trying to power on. So it is continuing to show that it's starting. I can refresh on this page. Yeah. So where it shows this, it stays on one page. That's good enough. We're not going to connect here. We're going to be remotely connecting as we used to connect. But now it seems like it started. But if we try to connect to it, so if I go to its URL with which I was able to connect successfully before, so this URL will keep on trying itself automatically, the vcsa dot your domain name dot slash UI. So if the virtual machine is available on the other side, the Vcenter application is available on the other side, then it will log in. Otherwise, it will keep on trying automatically here. Because and it's going to take more time because that I have lowered the RAM of the Vcenter machine, which is already not fair to that machine. So that's why its background services will take more time because it is powering on from a shutdown state. So it's going to take more time. But now, once it is fully powered on, this virtual machine is fully powered on in the background. All the services are started, and I'm able to log into it successfully. Then I'm going to just shut down by suspending it only. So the background services will be frozen in a frozen state, which means that next time those services we will not have to wait a lot for the services to start. So we could log into the vCenter machine. They will be just frozen and unfrozen in next class, right? So right now, because they're coming back from shutdown state, so they're going to take time, and the lowered RAM will increase that time as well. So we can only wait. But I wanted to show you two errors that come, two error screens that appear, and those errors just mean that you just need to wait a little more. You don't need to do further troubleshooting. It's on its way to getting started. The background sources are on their way to getting started. So one error is 504 error, 504 error. So that's going to come. Then another error will have the wording initializing. So if those two errors you see, then this means that you just need to wait a little more until automatically. Okay, this is 404. This is not what I mean. So that's 504. And also that this URL needs to be little changed. It should be just the initial URLs till /UI. And I'll try again. This one. Okay, Siri says I'm in stage 2. Do we have to create new SSO configuration or join an existing? No, the first one. Create a new. And if it's asking for a domain name, then put vsphere.local, VSPHERE. It's written grayed out as well. So just type that vsphere.local and the password, class password, and next. Okay, so I've changed the URL and removed some of the other extra values there. And it's still trying itself, while on the other side, this machine it seems like it's powered on, but in the background, the services are still starting. And here I'm trying to connect remotely from the browser with the correct URL to that machine, which I was able to successfully connect before. So it's going to keep on trying itself until it will say 504. 504. If it says 504, then we're on our way. We're good. We just have to wait a little more. And then if it says initializing, then still we're good. We just need to wait a little more. The background sources are still starting. So if that error appears, I'll let you know that, okay, this means just sit back and enjoy the show kind of thing. Oh, there you go, initializing. This means we're on our way to getting logged. Well, the background sources are on their way to start, so we're good. Yeah, Siri, you can uncheck that CEIP and click next. Okay, it's just automatically trying, and if it says initializing, then we're on our way. We're good. Okay, so I'm just going to refresh that because it's not auto refreshing now. So sometimes if we refresh, it just takes us to the credential screen. It's like it is kind of loading that credential screen. Siri says I'm not able to see the settings in my network details. No, we don't have to configure that. That's it. We just go ahead now. Screenshot 2. Yeah, you have to take the screenshot 2 where stage 2 is about to begin. And it's showing the summary. All right, so the credential screen has loaded for the vCenter, and administrator@vsphere.local is the username password that I need to use, and the class password I need to use to log in, and that's good. So after some long wait, we had to, we are able to now log into the vCenter, and the rest is the configuration of the vCenter. From here onwards, we then start configuring the whole vCenter environment. So, well, what I'm thinking is that I think I should just keep it till here, so everyone should catch up. There are very less students now logged in, 5 students only. Others will need to catch up as well, and then we can configure the whole vCenter together. If you're okay with that, then yeah, we can just keep it till here, or I keep configuring the rest as well. Okay, Nicholas has reached this point where it is initializing, so that's very good. And mine is still logging in. So he says I'm not able to see that network configuration details and summary. Well, if the summary is showing, then that's good. Just take the screenshot of the summary, even if you don't see the network configuration. Okay, I'm logged in now to the Vcenter. Center. Okay, I'm still catching the train. Driver says 100% stage 2. Okay, so well, you guys can let me know that. Shall I just stop here and we continue next class together once you have all caught up, or shall I continue configuring the rest?
It's okay for me.
Sorry, what you said? Oh, okay. Okay for me to stop here, or okay for me to continue? To continue, okay, cool. So I'll be configuring the rest if other want. Okay, so it depends on other as well. Anyway, one word to continue, so that is a continue for me. So I'll just continue now. So guys, while you're trying to catch up, I'll try to, I'm going to create a basic structure here. And by the end of the class, if you're not there, you can still follow the video and complete the rest. So I'm going to right click here and create a new folder. So I'm going to create 2 new folders. Folders are just to have, it's like a placeholder, or you can actually organize stuff here. And then within that, we can create a data center. Otherwise, we can directly create a data center. All the features of the vCenter application live inside the data center, right? So we can create a data center directly here, or we can organize it more. So we're going to pretend that we have one branch in Toronto and one branch in New York, right? So we're going to pretend that we have 2 branches. So then we can create a bigger environment just to see how a slightly bigger environment is created, right? So I'm just going to go for a new folder. So I'm just going to go for a new folder here, and I'll call it Canada. Suppose we have a branch in Canada. And then I'm going to just create, I'm going to go on the top here. I'm going to create a new folder here, and I'll pretend that we have a branch in US. So Canada and US 2 folders got created. Within this folder, if we right click this folder, we can still create a data center inside the folder. Even after creating a data center under that, we can still create new folder just to separate virtual machines, organize, storage, organize networking. So it's just more of an organization that we can do with the folders. So I'm going to go for new data center. I'm going to right click on Canada. I'm going to create new data center here, and that we will call Tor DC, Toronto Data Center. And I'm going to press OK. This is just a name. Then I'm going to go for US. I'm going to select that first. And then I'm going to right click here and then create a data center here called NYDC, New York Data Center. So if I click the data Tor DC here, then it shows me summary, monitor, configure, permissions, host and clusters, VMs, data stores, networks, and updates, right? So what is a data center? Data center, if I right click here, so you can see that pretty much everything we can do within the vCenter, all the services within the vCenter are inside this feature called data center, right? So you can add host. It's a must. Obviously, whatever virtual machines are on ESXi2, suppose, and whatever virtual machines are on ESXi3 or ESXi4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, maybe you have ESXi. Well, the tiny installation that we did in the vCenter configuration, it supports 10 up to 10 hypervisors, right? So suppose we have 10 hypervisors, which we don't. So suppose we have 10. So obviously they all have to be introduced to the data center, to the vCenter application, and inside the vCenter application to the data center itself. So I'm going to show you how to do that. New cluster. So this new cluster is having all the advanced disaster recovery and business continuity features like fault tolerance, high availability, HA, DRS, distributed resource scheduler, vSAN, and many other features are in the cluster. But we're going to go to the cluster later. So we're just continuing to fix the basic environment. So there's that distributed switch, new virtual machine you can directly create here under the data center as well, storage. But first you have to add some kind of host here, because this is just going to centrally manage all the hypervisors or hosts. So you have to add a hypervisor here to manage the environment, right? So the main thing to understand about data center is that all the features and the unit of management is data center, right? All the features exist or live inside the data center. So we have 2 data centers created here, and we're pretending we have 2 branches. Or one is Tor DC, one is NYDC. If I'm in the Tor DC, so it says, hey, how many hosts do you have? None. How many virtual machines? How many clusters? How many networks? How many data stores? Nothing. So these values all appear when we add a host to the data center. So what I'm going to do now is we need to power on E6i2 and E6i3. E6i2 host will be added to Toronto data center. We're pretending that E6i2 host is inside the Toronto branch, and E6i3 host we're pretending is inside the New York branch, right? So in order to add them, we have to power them on now. So what is the RAM distribution? So 10 GB here, 4 GB here, 4 GB here. So it's already 18 GB. So those who are having 16 GB RAM will have to now over commit. And sometimes it works as well. Suppose you have total of 16 GB RAM and you have given the virtual machines a total of 18 GB here. So still it works because the machines do not use full 18 GB capacity, right? So that's, the limitation of 16 GB RAM that, it's gonna very soon ask more RAM. So 10 GB here and 4 GB virtual machines or hypervisors. I'm just gonna power them on now. 4 GB and 4 GB. Let's power them on because we need to introduce the hypervisors to the vCenter, right? So I have 32 GB RAM, so it's not gonna really make any difference in terms of performance. But those who have maximum 16 GB RAM, you might see performance degradation on of your laptop. But try to stop anything else running other than VMware Workstation. So if you have any browser open in your laptop, close it. If you have any antivirus running here, close them as well. And try to close any messengers, right? So you need every ounce of RAM you can get your hands on. I'm talking to those who have 16 GB RAM total in their laptop. Those who have 32 GB, you're okay. You just go ahead and power on. So in order to introduce the hypervisor E6i2 to TorDC and hypervisor E6i3 to NYDC, we need to power them on. They are getting powered on. Once they are powered on, then you can see that if I go to TorDC, then there's an add host here. So then I'm going to click the add host, and those hosts have to be added. There will be a wizard going on, and they will ask for host, hypervisor's username, password, which is root and the class password, and then next, and they will be added, right? Well, I'll just wait for them to be fully started. Sorry. All right, so the hypervisors are fully started. I'm just gonna be adding E6i2 hypervisor to the data center TorDC and E6i3. We don't need two data centers. I'm just showing you that what if we had bigger environments, so how do we create that? Otherwise, one data center is enough for us to add the two hypervisors. So I'm just gonna right click here and Tor DC, I'm just gonna click add host. And in the add host, it would want to know the name of the host. And that is where you can put the IP and it will grab it. But the best practice is to put the name of the host, the fully qualified domain name, right? So I'm going to go to my DNS and I'll just grab the host name of the E6i2 because E6i2 is being added to the Tor DC. So I'm just going to double click E6i2. There's a fully qualified name of E6i2 here. You could just type that name as well. And I'll just paste it here, the fully qualified domain name of ESXi2. And if it is reachable, if it is pingable, then it's going to connect as well. If you have any connectivity issues, then it's not going to connect. And then you have to resolve that why it is not connecting remotely to this. So the Vcenter application is living inside E6i1 and it's trying to connect to E6i2 now, right? So username is root, we know that, and the class password. Next. Now that's where you might get an error even after this. So this is just saying that, hey, this is a self-signed security certificate for the hypervisor, which is okay. I'm just going to press yes. If you reach this screen, this means that your host has a good remote connection to this network connection to this E6i VCSA living inside this hypervisor. So now I'm just gonna, it also has one virtual machine here, E6i2. Remember, we created one virtual machine and put an operating system inside. So it's showing that, yes, there's one virtual machine here, which is okay. And next. Okay, so it has an evaluation license and it's gonna expire in 60 days since the installation of this host. Next. There is lockdown mode and normal, and then there is strict. So the difference between normal lockdown mode and strict lockdown mode is that with the normal lockdown mode, okay, I'll just quickly create another one. So if you have suppose two hypervisors here and one vCenter here, and this is vCenter, and this is ESXi02 and ESXi03. So we had here Google Chrome, from which we were connecting to the hosts, right? And now we have vCenter here as well. And then there is a DCUI mode, right? Direct console user interface. With DCUI, you can also connect here, right? Direct console interface. So if I go to this, so this is the DCUI mode. You press F2 and you go inside and you fix the IP name just like we did before, right? So this area is called DCUI, Direct Console User Interface. So there are three ways to connect, right? Before vCenter, we were connecting through Google Chrome to the hypervisor, and we were connecting directly through DCUI to the hypervisor, right? Same for this. But then vCenter came, and vCenter is saying, hey, I'm going to put a lockdown mode here. So what is a lockdown mode, and what is a normal lockdown mode and strict one? So normal lockdown mode is actually, you know what, I'll just do here vCenter lockdown modes. So normal lockdown mode means that we can connect to hypervisor from the vCenter and DCUI, direct console service, but we cannot connect the hypervisor from the browser. So that's a normal lockdown mode. Strict lockdown mode is that we cannot connect. So, okay, since I started we can connect only from vCenter to the hypervisor, but cannot connect from Google Chrome, from a browser, and from DCUI to the hypervisor. Both we cannot connect, right? So that's what I'm saying in the diagram now, or showing the diagram. The normal lockdown mode is that you cannot connect from a Google Chrome, but yes, you can connect from vCenter, and yes, you can connect from the DCUI. But strict lockdown mode is strict lockdown mode. Strict lockdown mode is that yes, you can connect from vCenter to the hypervisor, but you cannot connect from the browser, and you can also not connect from the DCUI. So that is a strict lockdown modes. So strict would be this too. And normal lockdown mode would be yes from vCenter and from DCUI as well. So so these will be strict, but only strict mode only from hypervisor. From the vCenter, you can connect to the hypervisor. Strict mode, but cannot connect from browser, cannot connect from DCUI. That is strict. Normal, you can connect from vCenter, and you can connect from DCUI, but not from browser, right? So browser-based access after you have vCenter to connect to the hypervisor is a security risk. So if administrators are already connecting from vCenter to all the hypervisors, why would you still let anyone connect from any browser in the network to the hypervisor? So this will be a security risk, right? So that's why lockdown modes are really important. Okay, so I'll just go back here and let's just go to the normal lockdown mode and click next. That's it. VM location is stored EC, next. And that's the summary of the first host being added, and click finito. So I'm just going to add this way the second host to the NYDC data center. Again, we do not need two data centers, just to show you how, if it was a bigger environment, how would it look like? And also to explore all the options here. What is this option? What is that option, right? So now I'm going to add E6i3 to NYDC, pretending that E6i3 hypervisor is in New York branch, and there's a separate vCenter inside New York branch, or even the same vCenter, but with VPN, you're connected with the two branches or MPLS. So NYDC needs to be introduced to E6i3 hypervisor host. So I'm just going to right click here and click add host, right? And then I need the correct fully qualified domain name of ESXi3. I can just feel lazy here, or we can say careful here. And I'll go for ESXi3 and, oh no, not the PTR, for lookup zone, and ESXi3 here, double click and copy this full name here and paste it. So this is the host being introduced to NYDC, and I'm going to click next. And then there is root and the password, small c, capital C, shift 123 without shift 123. So that's the password of the hypervisor. And next, yes, it's the self-signed certificate. Is this the one that you're connecting to? Yes, this is the one. And yeah, we're good. It has no virtual machine inside, which is okay. Next. Yes, it's 60 days evaluation license. Next. And now we know that we're going to go for normal lockdown mode. And then next finish. So the second host gets added as well. All right. And guys, so we will be having quiz because whatever we have covered in the labs till now will be in the quiz. The quiz will have 20 questions or 25 questions, and it will be just simple true and false questions. And it will be like I can give you 1 day separate to just give the quiz while we keep on doing the labs on our specific days. And next week, I will just give you the quiz, and maybe I'll give you a few hours. It's an open book quiz, which will be midterm quiz, we can say. And I'm just going to put it in here in the dashboard, Blackboard as well, right? So it will be 25 questions and true, false, open book, and few hours any day of the week. I'll just give that. But we're not gonna have that on Thursday because we are having labs there, right? Okay, anyway, so the two hosts are also added here, and we can take that screenshot number 5 here now. So screenshot number 5 would be two hosts added to the vCenter. Screenshot number 5 would be two hosts added to the vCenter. Screenshot 5. Two hosts added to the center. Screenshot 5, two hosts added to the vCenter. And I'll go back here. Now, the two hosts added, and if I go to ESXi2, if you expand that, you can see that there's a VM01 or one virtual machine is here. While in NYDC, if you expand that, you don't see any virtual machine. Second thing is that on Tor DC, we had all these features, but on every host also, we have lots of features here. We can create new virtual machine on the host level, deploy OVF template, which means we can import our virtual machine from outside of VMware environment. A new resource pool, we're going to talk about that in detail. New VApp, and then maintenance mode just puts the host in a maintenance mode, which means that the virtual machines cannot run on a host that is in maintenance mode. We're going to be going to the maintenance mode when we are doing a VMware security update or driver update of the host. So how to do that? Those updates, we're going to do that as a lab. Connection disconnection, we can disconnect the host as well and then connect again if there are any kind of troubleshooting that is needed. Power shutdown, reboot, certificates. If you are trying to purchase a certificate from outside from public CAs, certificate authorities, CA is certificate authority, and then putting it there. So that's where you put the certificate to the host. Storage, and you can create even more data stores on this host. And networking, you can add more virtual standard switches there. Host profiles is just whatever configuration is in this host. Then those same configurations, you can copy a configuration of this host and then put those configurations on all other hosts as well. So that is host profiles, export system logs, any log files that were created here that are saving all the events with timestamp. Those log files can be exported as well. So you can see it in Windows or Linux. And assign licenses. You can assign license here as well. Settings of the whole of this host with you want to change something on the host and move to is a feature to move any virtual machine from one host to another. Tags just to be able to search or just to identify this host or just add some more extra information. Remove from inventory is that you just want this host not to be seen here inside the vCenter, so you can do that. Permissions, obviously, you can just create permissions here that this user will be just handling this host or just few virtual machines here, or that user will be a full administrator of this host. So all that, those features for the hosts are here. Alarms, you can create more alarms here. That if the host is running out of CPU or memory or storage here, right? And then there's vSAN. When we do the vSAN lab, then you will understand what it is. Also, when you go to the host, so there's monitor. So there's summary first, and summary just tells processors, how many processors and network cards, how many virtual machines, how many on this host, and it's connected or not. And uptime is what, 16 minutes. Also, it shows this CPU, memory, and storage, what this host is consuming. Monitor, obviously, all the trigger alarms and overview of the host, advanced tasks and events of this particular host, and CPU, what is the CPU usage of this host right now, memory and storage, live values there. And then utilization, how much utilization is there, and hardware health and Skyline health, overall health of this. So other than that, the more time we'll be spending inside the configure area of the host, where there's storage related configurations of the host, networking related, virtual machines related, and then system related, hardware related, and virtual flash related configurations. So these are the areas that we're going to be working on a lot: networking, virtual machine, and system. Then there are permissions here, that which user you want to add. We're going to be connecting this machine to the Active Directory, and then any user and group in the Active Directory can be actually added here from Microsoft Active Directory. Users of Microsoft can be added here and given some kind of role, administrator role or end user role, or just the desktop support role. Whatever virtual machines you want to see, and so we have just one virtual machine in this host, so that could be seen here under virtual machine. VM templates here. If you have created templates, we're going to be talking about templates. We're going to be creating templates. We're going to create clones out of templates as well. And what is VApp? We're going to do a lab on that. Resource pools, again, an upcoming lab for resource pools. How many data stores this host is connected to? So one local data store, that is, as we already know from the diagram. So this is the local disk-based data store, and then there are LAN-based data stores that are data stores on top of disks that are shared over the network from SAN, in our case, software SAN. So whatever virtual machine we create in future will be created on, as a vendor best practice, they will be created on these LAN-based data stores and not on the local data store, right? And then there are networks here. So there's only one VM network, which is a port group. So hopefully next class we will be talking about the virtual standard switch as well and all its features in depth. So this port group relates to the virtual standard switch. And then updates. So is this host updated? Does this host have all the latest updates, driver updates, security updates, critical updates from VMware or not? So this is the update section for this particular host. The good thing is that when you do navigate, suppose you want to compare these configurations, how they are in other hosts as well. So whichever area section you are in right now, suppose I'm in the VM section of this host, I want to see that in the other host, same section, are there more virtual machines or less or none? So when you are on any section and you click to other host, the other host also lands on the exact same section where you were on the previous host, right? So if I click that, so it's just gonna show VMs as well. So suppose here I'm seeing data stores. I want to see the same on the other host, or maybe if I had 10 hosts here, I want to see the same configuration for all the hosts. So the good thing is that whichever the first host was on, whichever section, the next host will actually start from there. So I'm just going to click that and it's going to just show the data stores there. So that really gives us also a good comparison of, oh, E6i2 and E6i3 both are connected to the three LAN-based data stores here, right? And then there's one virtual machine here. We're going to be moving that virtual machine's storage from the local data store to the LAN-based data store as well. So we're going to do all that and more labs in in next class now. So you have 5 screenshots here. You can just put it in your Word document and then go ahead and upload, because then there will be long list of features that we're gonna continue to explore, and some features are bigger, so we don't have enough time now. So we'll just upload that. And guys, one more thing here, the most important thing actually now after deploying the vCenter. So if you're in this stage, you have to now shut down all the machines with suspend guest. Do not shut down the machine, but suspend the machine. That's what I'm saying. Do not shut down the machine, suspend the machine, right? So then you will not spend a lot of time waiting for the background services to start, because now we have the vCenter application. So for that, suspend. So I'm just going to suspend this machine, power suspend guest, and power suspend guest. Next class, you just resume the machine if you have reached that stage where I am. Suspend guest, right click, suspend guest, right? Yeah, no. And once you suspend, then just go ahead and upload, because
Can I share my screen?
yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're connected to 5480. Now this is the management of this particular machine. You're supposed to, so remove the 5480 and colon till local. And remove the summary as well. And before UI, remove this URL, slash. Yeah, now you should, and remove the 5480 as well. And column. Yeah, now you're good. Enter. So this is a server management area where we can only take care of that particular VCSA. This is where from where we control the whole environment. The URL is this. So once you connect, and then you can go ahead and create stuff, and yeah, you're good. So here you can just suspend the machine, but you have to now wait for the video to reach where we are. And I'll try to upload that by tomorrow morning or tonight. Most probably tomorrow morning. And go ahead and upload on week 8, because it's already there, and upload week 8 is available. So just upload your slides there. And now this, yeah, so no, this will be logging in. It's just gonna take time. Then you have to start the other 2 machines and add the host for that. Right now, you can suspend the 2 machines after this is logged in. And when the video is uploaded, then go ahead and follow the rest of the steps before the next class. Oh, there you go. You're good now. So just, yeah, it fully loaded just now. So what you can do is, yeah, here. Yeah, you can log in from administrator. Yep, you're good. Okay, you already have it. Nice. So yeah, you can just follow the rest of the steps, lots of steps we took. Then you can wait. So right now you can suspend if, yeah, you can suspend the machines and then you're good. I'll just, hey guys, so upload. If you are you able to see the V8? Yeah. Okay, thank you for the reply. So this is the, oh, okay, I'll share my screen now. So week 8 is there, and I'll be announcing the, I'll put that in WhatsApp and in Blackboard, the quiz next week. It could be any day. We can just put few hours. I can ask which day you want, and I can put it there. Just 25 questions, true, false, open book. You're gonna get 2 hours. Okay, so this is week 8, and if you are able to see this, then we are good. Okay, there is question here. So Sri says, I am still in stage 2. When can I upload the screenshot? Well, now stage 2, wait for it to finish. And once it is fully finished, you can suspend the machine and it's going to be frozen, and then continue once the video is uploaded and continue with the next steps. Sorry. So video you can view by tomorrow morning, 12 o'clock, or just put a reminder there on WhatsApp, sir, where's the video? Right, but tomorrow you should be having that. So right now you can suspend the machine once the installation is done. So during the installation, don't do it. Once the installation is fully completed successfully, then only suspend the machine. All right. Okay, guys, see you next week. Next
Okay,
class
all
is
right.
test. Yeah. All right,
Good
thank
luck.
you. Yeah, next class is quiz. Although I was thinking of having some other day, but yeah, next class will also be quiz. So whatever we've covered in the lab, questions will be coming from that, and whatever we discussed in the video. I'll put the whole rules and stuff here. All right, guys, see you next week.
Okay, good night. Bye.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. All right, bye-bye. Ending meeting in 3, 2, 1. Good night.